First responders dedicate their lives to saving others. And in critical moments, reliable connectivity is their lifeline. It's an honor to partner with public safety and the federal government to deliver a one-of-a-kind network for first responders. We call it FirstNet. And today, I get to speak with Boise Fire Chief Mark Niemeyer. As president of the Western Fire Chiefs Association, he represents more than 650 rural and urban departments across 10 states in the U.S. Pacific Territories. Chief, it's great to be with you.
Jeff, thanks. It's great to be with you too and talking a little bit about public safety. I appreciate it.
Tell us about why fire chiefs and other public safety executives across the country are choosing FirstNet.
Yeah, just let me say first, Jeff, it's because it's our network. And prior to FirstNet, we really didn't have a seat at the table, a voice at the table to really communicate and talk about the challenges for public safety and response. So much of the work we do is connected. And with the passage of FirstNet, we now have a voice. We can engage directly with FirstNet. The board is made up of former first responders, those that understand our challenges, understand our needs, but also can then communicate with our great other partner, AT&T, to talk about the challenges and find solutions that meet the needs of not only today, but tomorrow. Right out of the gate, I started to get a trust level with the network. And in our world of public safety, that trust with a partner is so important, so critically important. And so I think that's why more and more fire chiefs, police chiefs, public safety personnel are moving to FirstNet.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I've watched this from the very beginning as it's first thought of just a basic network itself that is providing priority and preemption to today. Right. We're sitting in an environment where your network, it is for your first responders, and they have the ability to augment coverage where they need it on the fly in a very predictable manner, which creates situational awareness and puts you in a really good position to do your job.
If I could hit on priority and preemption too, I think that's really important. There's been a lot of promises in the past prior to FirstNet about priority and preemption, but it was always this convoluted process that you had to make phone calls and push the right buttons, and it was time consuming to where by the time you got to the end of the emergency, you still didn't have priority and preemption, right? We always have priority and preemption, and it's always on. And that is what FirstNet has ensured. We have to have always on priority and preemption, and FirstNet, AT&T have delivered on that promise.
As we look a little bit down the road, technology is constantly evolving. How important do you think connectivity will be to the future of firefighting and the connected first responder and a lot of the innovation that we're doing around 5G? Do you have a point of view on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Whether it's 5G, the passage of 4.9 and that spectrum that just recently happened. And you mentioned the word connected. And I would take it to say connected firefighters or connected police officers. And the future of technology is in things like wearables. It's in things like helmet technology that is going to provide real-time data feeds to incident commanders to make better decisions. That connection, whether it's 5G, 4.9, and even as we move into satellite technology, that whole Internet of Things, and what is that going to look like? I believe we're going to be even more reliable on connection than we are today because of the advancements in technology that are coming our way that are completely a good thing for us, for our firefighter safety and their health and our response to the community. So absolutely almost a mandate in terms of criticality that we have those connections.
Fabulous. And one of the things that is so unique, I think, to your branch of service is that firefighters are not just permanent full-time, but represent a lot of volunteer firefighters. And what's the importance of ensuring that every public safety community, even though they may not be badged in full-time, has access to the capabilities of FirstNet?
Well, I'll jokingly say, and we talk about this a lot, fires don't burn differently in rural communities than they do in my own community, which is an urban area. So the challenges that maybe a rural community fire department faces, the only difference is scale and scope, right? I have a lot more employees, they have a lot less, but the need for connection, regardless of community size, is they're limited. And I think when you talk about things like virtual health, drone usage in rural communities that we're exploring. How do we get an AED to a home where you don't have a lot of responders? Well, there's drone possibilities, and that's that connection that's needed to make that happen. So I think there's a lot of opportunities as we continue to build out to better serve rural communities and those volunteer firefighters. And at the same time, we'll be benefiting folks like myself and my department as we continue to build out as well.
And as you think about first responders, we're honored to serve you because you put others' lives first. But you're not alone. You've got a family. You've got loved ones. And sometimes those loved ones may be in harm's way, but the spirit to serve puts you out there on the front line. And I mean, it's close to home for you as well, I understand, with your son and your daughter.
It is. So, obviously when I'm 24/7 as the fire chief here at Boise, my first thought is always with my firefighters and their safety. And we do have a saying, everyone goes home. But for me, it is more personal. My son is a firefighter. My son-in-law is a firefighter. My daughter is an emergency room nurse. That comfort of knowing that they are always going to be connected and safe. And I go back to that Mayday, right? It's the worst thing that could happen in any firefighter's life, that they're stuck in a fire and they can't get out. And that connection, and knowing that connection exists, as a father, I'm going to put my dad hat on now, gives me comfort to know that they're taken care of, that we can find them if they're down. Anything we can do to make them safer and give comfort to the families that your loved one is going to come home at the end of the day. And that's where FirstNet, AT&T are playing a critical role in that communication on a fire ground, the most dangerous place we could be, but ensuring that connection, that communication exists.
It's well said, Chief. I really do appreciate you spending a moment to share the importance of FirstNet. And on behalf of everyone at AT&T, we're honored to serve and support what you do day in and day out for our communities. And so thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff. And again, thank you to FirstNet. Thank you to AT&T for your ongoing support. It means a lot to us. And I go back to that partnership and that trust, and we'll continue that.
Wonderful.